course, develop local workforce. We're also interested in advancing education and improving healthcare, all in an effort to support sustainable economic diversification. The initiative is an investment by the Stabroek Block co-venturers, Exxon Mobil, Hess, and Sinuk, and it's a 10-year-long initiative at the cost of 20 billion Guyana dollars.
And when was this initiative launched?
This initiative was launched in February of this year, but before that, there was some background work that was being done. Of course, in the COVID-19 pandemic, some of the confetti and fanfare in terms of the launch was delayed until February of this year.
Okay, great. Let's go into a breakdown of this project. What are your areas of focus and who will be benefiting, and what organizations will you be collaborating in based on these areas of focus?
Sure. So there are four focus areas currently: agriculture, economic development, education, and as mentioned before, health. And so far, what we've been doing in our early works is working with the Council for Technical and Vocational Education and Training to support growing the safety culture at technical institutions across Guyana. We have trained some what we call the Guyanese safety champions in basic industrial safety training programs. And the idea is really to help them to understand safety at another level and be able to support the safety culture at those schools, those institutes across Guyana. We're currently working with two institutions. So we're piloting two programs at two institutions in electrical and welding areas. And those programs, what we're doing is improving the curriculum material, but also improving the labs, because we want to ensure that students have the opportunity not just to learn in the classroom, but also to practice what they're learning. And one of the things that we're pretty excited about is the 3D augmented simulations for welding, where students have an opportunity to engage with technology before they're actually using a blowtorch or a piece of steel, and of course ensuring that it's done in a safe way, and there's some fun in learning as well. We're currently working with the University of Guyana as well. Early in this year, we've supported the university's technology goals, especially in this pandemic era that we're in right now, to support them with 18 Zoom rooms. And the Zoom rooms are across the various campus sites as well as satellite sites that the University of Guyana has. And it assists the lecturers with ensuring that their students are connected to having that tertiary education at our premier institution here in Guyana. Some of those Zoom rooms are in some of the medical labs and so forth, so that when your teacher's doing something with beakers and the pipettes and so forth, you're able to zoom in and be able to see, even if you're in the comfort of your own home, across the nation. And we're also working with the Center for Local Business Development. And the Center for Local Business Development, we're pretty excited about the work that's happening over there. And they're supporting growing the economic competitiveness of the local businesses in Guyana. Currently, we have over 3,000 businesses that are registered with the center. And they're basically benefiting from many of the different programs, from the introduction to oil and gas, to understanding financial management, project management, and really helping those businesses to become more competitive in the oil and gas industry. But one of the important things is that a lot of these businesses also represent many different sectors within our society. So it's not just about oil and gas, but it's about other sectors, and of course ensuring that diversification, and it's making sure that it's sustainable.
Okay. In what ways will Guyana's oil sector benefit from this initiative? Say, for instance, creating better business, socioeconomic, and other benefits.
So this program is more or less geared towards Guyanese. It's about Guyanese. It's about driving that social and economic development and improving those livelihoods. This is really about communities. And so what the program aims at doing is ensuring that it aligns with the Guyana priorities. So what are those national priorities that are pushing Guyana in the era of development, and what are the community priorities as well? So we want to work with local organizations, local community organizations, etc., to ensure that those interests within the community are met by some of these initiatives. And so what we see is, in building those human capacity and building the local workforce, they're able to provide the competencies and the capabilities needed for the oil and gas industry, but more broadly for the entire economic development landscape that we see in Guyana. So you have people within the technical institutes, but then you have a safety culture as well growing, and then you have a lot of entrepreneurs who are starting up their little businesses that can feed into some of the supply chains needed for the oil and gas industry and some of those other avenues.
Okay. And Can you go into more details on who have tapped into this initiative so far?
So right now we have, as mentioned before, some of our community partners are the University of Guyana, the Council for Technical and Vocational Education and Training. We also have the Center for Local Business Development. And there's some other organizations that have submitted proposals, and there's a review process that they go through. And we're currently wrapping up some of those reviews. Of course, when those are finalized and the ink is on paper, then we'll be able to speak more to those initiatives. But what I can say is that it's an opportunity for community not-for-profits to be able to submit proposals where they can actually benefit from some of this funding once their proposals are reviewed and meets the various criteria. And that the programs that they're proposing are sustainable within the communities, or at least they suggest to be sustainable within those communities.
Okay, you mentioned they have to submit proposals. How does one become eligible to access the Greater Guyana Initiative?
So it's pretty easy. You'll need some internet. So the Greater Guyana Initiative has a website. It's www.greaterguyanainitiative.gy. That's www.greaterguyanainitiative.gy. And when you go onto the website, it's a very simple interface that has several tabs. And if you click on the tab that says proposal, you get all the information about proposal submission, from what the community priorities are, what the Guyana priorities are, and some of the other information there. But also you'll get information on what are some of the other programs that we've been doing and what GGI is all about. And then we have a list of questions that we developed, and we sat down and we thought about what is it that local Guyanese in country, or even those overseas in the diaspora, may want to know about the Greater Guyana Initiative. And so we've answered a series of those questions, and that's on the website as well that they can interact with. And if for example there's something there that you've seen and you piqued an interest in something else that you want to know more about and it's not on the website, you can reach out to us via email at ggi@exxonmobil.com. There's also a template on the website that we've placed there, and you can download that template. It's in a Word document, a Word file rather, and it's already pre-populated with the various headings and necessary information that we're looking for within the proposal. So it makes it easy for anybody to basically follow that guideline and submit their proposals for review.
Another question: how can ordinary people instead of big institutions take advantage of this initiative?
So what I'll say is, it's important if you want to benefit from something like this to really look at the website again and follow what's happening via our Facebook page, Exxon Mobil Guyana page, or Instagram page as well, to see what's happening with some of these other institutions like the University of Guyana, the Technical Vocational Institute, and so forth. Because what they're doing is basically shorting these programs, but the programs are for the local residents. So you may want to think about which one of these programs would suit me? How can I benefit from one of these things? How can I sign up to be a part of these things? And of course, once there are more community organizations who are going to be responsible for stewarding these programs, it is about including the local community members and the local beneficiaries, right? So you may not be able to, as an individual, submit a proposal, and because we want to ensure that it's sustainable, and we want to ensure that there's transparency and accountability and so forth. But also we want to ensure that it's done efficiently. And so while there may be community organizations that are stewarding these initiatives, it is for the local members and the local community leaders and anybody who's interested in one of those programs that is funded.
Okay, great. And is there anything else you would like to add before we go?
I would just say that it's really an opportunity for local community organizations to engage with the website and the Greater Guyana Initiative program. And of course, submit your proposals with those creative ideas if you're interested in supporting development across the country. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Hoppie. It was great having you here this morning to discuss the Greater Guyana Initiative.
Thank you.
News Talk Radio Guyana 103.1 FM, bringing you the best of broadcasting.
News Talk Radio Guyana is the station for you, bringing you news updates every hour, major news 3 times a day, edutainment on a higher level, shows like Beat the Clock, Brunch on the Coast,